Yes, please.
I'm a client who I'm working with, and when I store the emails and their profiles, their concern is how do I make sure that they don't get hacked? Where does that information get stored in the first place?
But BuddyPress is a WordPress plugin. It stores all of its data in the same database where you keep all of your WordPress data. So your information in BuddyPress is as secure as your information is in WordPress. That's good. That's good because WordPress is actually very secure. WordPress, there are no known exploits of WordPress right now. When there are exploits, they're released really quickly, or the patches are released really quickly. BuddyPress doesn't do its own login. It uses WordPress database methods for preventing things like SQL injection. It uses WordPress has a bunch of security things built in that BuddyPress takes advantage of. That said, if you have kind of a crummy sysadmin, or if you yourself are a sysadmin and are crummy at it, like I am, that's why I don't do my own sysadmining, then there's nothing that can, if somebody gets a password to your box, then they're going to take all of your stuff. But there's nothing that WordPress or BuddyPress can do about that. So it's as secure as your WordPress installation is, really. And so that's a little bit beyond the scope of what BuddyPress is. It's just a question of how you configure a server correctly. But yeah, that's the short version. Other general questions? Yes, sir.
If you've got all these different users who can post stuff and make groups and private groups, is there a central way to moderate everything that's being written on the site?
There are a couple of ways, yeah. And it's kind of emerging. It's not really complete. There are. First of all, there's a really nice plugin called BP Moderation, which is it's a crowdsourcing moderation plugin, meaning that it's a flagging plugin essentially. It allows users to flag any kind of content in the system, blog posts, forum posts, stuff like that, flag it as inappropriate. Then the administrator for the site gets notified about this, and they are able to decide what to do with that content, delete it or whatever. So that's from the user's point of view. From the admin's point of view, it's a little bit trickier. You can use the activity stream, that's one way, because the activity stream is like a fire hose of all the stuff that's happening on your site. If you have a busy site, you're probably not going to be watching the activity stream all day long because there would be too much happening on it and it would be overwhelming. But from the activity stream, you can click to any piece of content, and on any piece of content, administrators have controls in the admin bar dropdown that let them delete or whatever. They can mark users as spammers. That's built into WordPress. So there is not one master dashboard where one can log in and see at a glance everything that's been posted on the site today, for instance, except for the activity stream. That doesn't exist. It would be a good area for improvement, but that doesn't exist right now. Most of the administration for BuddyPress is done through the front end for the administrator. Yeah.
Is it possible for multiple BuddyPress sites, like profiles, to friend each other across? It's kind of a diaspora model?
No, but that's my goal for the end of this year is to do that. So BuddyPress 1.5 doesn't do that, but I have big hopes for writing I have the APIs in a Git repository on my computer, and I have them talking to each other. I've built it for clients, and I have it. I just have to make it workable and I have OAuth built in and everything. It's really sweet, but I have to clean it up.
Would it be compatible with Diaspora?
At first, it'll just be BuddyPress to BuddyPress, because then we can control content types a little bit clearer. But the idea is that at the same time that we implement these APIs and these standards for communicating, we're also going to implement markup standards in the core, things like friend of a friend and other micro formats that are standard across different content management systems like Diaspora, like Drupal, and then they'll be able to talk to each other in intelligent ways. So I'm really excited about that. I'm just trying to kick this version out the door before I can really get working on it. Yeah.
Can you bring in Facebook blog posts on activity stream?
Yeah, I think so. If they're available by RSS, there are plugins to bring in arbitrary RSS items into activity stream.
So we can log into your Facebook and not the WordPress extension.
There are WordPress plugins that allow Facebook login, and several of them integrate really nicely with BuddyPress. So that's a separate issue. The login is separate from the content. So you can log in using your BuddyPress information or your Word. Let me set that over again. You can log into a BuddyPress installation using your Facebook credentials, Whether you want to bring in your content from Facebook is another issue. I don't know of one that gets secure content via the Facebook API. I don't even know, to be honest with you, if the Facebook API allows that. It may not. Facebook isn't very nice about letting you have your stuff out. So I build open source social networking software. I hate Facebook. Right? Because Facebook is terrible, right? There's all sorts of ways to pull things in, but when it comes time to export anything, then it's just like, wait a second, Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, not going to go there. In any case, so it can be done. Anything that has RSS can be pulled into BuddyPress. It can be posted on the activity stream. It can be posted to feed WordPress inside of your WordPress installation. So bringing things in, really easy. Bringing them in from people like Facebook who have iron claws, not quite as easy, but okay. Yeah, Ron.
So, for the initial BuddyPress user, how groups and forums relate is an important thing to understand.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just looking at BuddyPress.org. There's over 1,500 groups on there, which becomes really unwieldy in terms of taxonomy and organizing information. I've thought about, again, I assume that there's a number of groups that, are duplicate kinds of groups.
Yeah.
Have you thought about how to deal with that in future versions of BuddyPress to make it?
Well, I'm not sure how much we can prevent against information. Well, let me step back for people who don't know what he's talking about. The relationship, we have forums built into BuddyPress, regular old discussion forums using BBPress. But the way that they're implemented right now, they are tied to groups. Instead of having, in other words, instead of having top-level forums like you would if you go to like a PHPBB or whatever, and you start one forum called frequently asked questions, one forum for getting started. Or if you go to the WordPress.org support forums, there's like 12 or 14 different top-level categories. Instead of that, in WordPress and BuddyPress, we have groups. So you have a group that's called Getting Started, and then inside of that group are forums. And so in a sense, they're separate from each other because they're in separate groups instead of being in separate forums, which is the language that they would use in BBPress standalone. And by the way, that's actually what we're doing internally. We're creating different forums in the same way you would with BBPress. Now, that can get a little bit tricky because then you have all this content happening in different groups. However, you have the activity stream, which brings it all together. You also have global forum directories. So when I'll go to BuddyPress.org. Maybe I will. Well, when I go to BuddyPress.org, it shows me all of the most recent forum posts from all public groups. So just because they're located in different groups doesn't mean that there's no way to look at all of them at once. There is, right here. You can see this one's posted in this group, this one's posted in the BuddyPress mobile group, and so the groups they give you a way to be more focused if you want to be more focused. But there are ways to see everything at once if you want to. If your general question is, if there's a lot of stuff, how do I read it all? Well, that's maybe not a software question as much as it is this kind of software question. I don't know the answer to that one, unfortunately. Yeah, but I will say that this tight relationship between forums and groups is not something that will be around forever.
Okay.
Not necessarily.
If you're launching a new site, there's a danger of too many people creating a lot of extra groups. So we've done things like just hide the button for creating.
Okay, well, I mean, I want to get to BuddyPress 1.5 pretty soon, and one of the reasons is because we have a toggle in BuddyPress 1.5 that only lets only lets site admins create groups. Yes, cool, please.
I was just going to ask you if you can do the 3-minute install for us.
Yeah, I can actually. I can do it much faster than 3 minutes. Yes, please.
Yeah, I was wondering if, at an appropriate time, if you could cover the difference between WordPress multi-site installation and BuddyPress.
I can cover it right now in just a second. WordPress multi-site allows you to have as many blogs as you'd like on a single copy of the WordPress offering. BuddyPress is more than just blogs. It's blogs. Blogs are the regular things you're used to with WordPress, where you have a front end with a theme, and then you have a dashboard that has all of your content. WordPress multi-site lets you have many sets like that with different URLs. BuddyPress, on a single blog within a WordPress installation, gives you forums, groups, member profiles, activity streams, all those new kinds of content within a single blog on that installation. Now, it also, in addition to that, BuddyPress keeps track of everything that's happening on all the blogs in your WordPress multi-site installation. So when I go to, for instance, my, I'll show you. When I go to my member page on the CUNY Academic Commons, which is the big site that I run for CUNY, you'll see that I have a blogs tab that shows the blogs on this WordPress network that I am a member of, or that I'm an author on, or whatever. So you have all of these blogs in the network, and then you choose one of those blogs as the mother blog, as it were, or what we call the root blog. And then on the root blog, you build all of your BuddyPress stuff straight up. BuddyPress is aware of everything that's happening out there, but it's really built up from a single blog. Make sense? So these are all separate blogs listed here. These are links to different blogs that I'm a member of. Okay. Let's talk about BuddyPress 1.5. I don't want to get out of here without talking about it. That's why I'm here. So, BuddyPress. BuddyPress, the last major version of BuddyPress was BuddyPress 1.2. BuddyPress 1, to give you a little backstory, BuddyPress, the developer community around BuddyPress, it was started by one guy, Andy Peatling, who started it as a client project, and then he open sourced it. And Automatic, the company that run by Matt Mullenweg, who is one of the founding developers of WordPress, he liked BuddyPress, and so he brought Andy on board. And Andy worked on BuddyPress on the payroll for a while. But then Andy got pulled away to different projects working on WordPress.com and stuff like that. So BuddyPress was kind of like, whoa, for a little while. And so there was a nice long stretch of time when there were incremental updates. BuddyPress 1.2, 1.2.1, 1.2.2, 1.2.3, etc. We're on 1.2.9 right now. But we didn't really get that major version up. So while we were doing these incremental updates, we had this big version lying in wait and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And so as we're approaching the date, and right now we're in the second beta of BuddyPress 1.5, so we're very close to the date, within a matter of weeks. It's just seemed big enough where we just skipped 1.3 and 1.4. So that's why it's all showmanship, right? P.T. Barnum, you know. So that's where we're at right now. This is actually a big release for us, not only because it has a lot of cool new features, and it does. For me, the new features are all under the hood at the developer side, but it's got a lot of cool things in the front end too. But what's really exciting is that all of this stuff we've been developing in the trunk version, in the development version of BuddyPress for well over a year, it's finally going to see the light of day and we can move on with our lives and do some new stuff. So I'm really super excited about that. Let's go back to my awesome slides.